As a progressive, I've always been against legacy admissions. You know, a legacy admission, a less qualified candidate gets into a school because his or her father or mother went there. And I thought it was a basic tenet of progressive and liberal values that one of the things that we're supposed to do before we get stuff is to work for it. We should get stuff because of what we do, not because of who we are. We're supposed to value self-sacrifice and hard work and going out there and trying day after day and year after year to make the world a better place. And those are the people that we are supposed to extol as heroes. So why is Carolyn Kennedy being considered for a Senate seat? I mean, what are her accomplishments? What are her achievements? Well, she's written a few books with some other people. Modern Profiles in Courage, a little bit derivative. She has a law degree. Hey, so do I. What else? Oh yeah, she had a job for 22 months raising money for the New York Public-Private Partnership for New York City Schools. All very nice things to do. It was a 3-day-a-week job, no heavy lifting. And she served on lots of boards as sort of a Kennedy ornament. This is not somebody whose achievements warrant elevation to the Senate. I understand she's having a midlife crisis. A lot of women that I know whose children are headed off to college and they put their careers on hold are having the same kind of crisis. Get a hobby, buy a puppy. You don't get a Senate seat. Ask the same thing of Carolyn Kennedy that we asked of Sarah Palin. In the big debates of the era, about Iraq, Afghanistan, 9/11, presidential power, rendition, the economy, bailouts, all of these questions, where has she stood over the past 8 years? Absolute silence, because she has been deliberately non-political, and that's fine. She seems like a wonderful person, but she has been a studied non-political person, and now she's decided she wants to be a senator. Okay, well then run for the Senate. That means stand in a real election, participate in debates, articulate your policies, and maybe you'll win and maybe you won't. But that's not the kind of election we have here in New York. You only have to win one vote in this election, and that's the governor of the state of New York, Governor Patterson, who will appoint a successor. Now, I want to show you something. Look at this headline. Kennedy for the Senate. This is in the New York Post, a right-wing rag. Now, why would they endorse Carolyn Kennedy? Well, there's an answer to that question. A long time ago, in a universe far away, Rupert Murdoch, who happens to be the owner of this particular right-wing rag, had a daughter. And he wanted to get his daughter into Brearley, which is a very exclusive private school in Manhattan. It's where the elite of the elite go. And he was concerned that the Murdoch name might not carry enough weight. So you know who we went to for a recommendation? One of Brearley's most distinguished alumna, Carolyn Kennedy. And Carolyn Kennedy nicely wrote a letter of recommendation for Rupert Murdoch's daughter, and thereby earned herself a favor, sort of like The Godfather. Here's the favor. I thought this is exactly the kind of thing that we oppose, where one generation, by virtue of its wealth and power and privilege, does favors for other rich and powerful people so they can hand them down to their children and their children's children, and that other people who happen not to be named Kennedy don't get an equal opportunity. I thought we were always against that. I thought that was a progressive position. Suddenly, people seem absolutely in love again with Kennedy royalty. I have to say, I find Governor Breibovich's approach to be a more honest solution to this issue of a Senate seat. Hey, he just held it open to the highest bidder, period. Whoever gives me the most dough gets the Senate seat. I don't care what your name is. I don't care what your background is. Just raise a big pile of money for me. So that some poor working class schlub with some friends, they could all chip in and buy a Senate seat. Can't do that in New York. You have to be named Kennedy. It really is an outrage, and it's an insult to all of the people in this state, elected officials who have worked hard year after year, making New York a better place. They just don't happen to be named Kennedy. They happen to be named things like Maloney or Lowy or McMahon. It's an outrage.